Alright guys, for our next topic, Project Rap Rabbit fails Kickstarter. Is Kickstarter for gaming on the decline?
For those who don't know, Project Rap Rabbit was like a spiritual successor for Parappa the Rapper.
Which came out for PS1 back in like 1996?
I guess.
I remember that when that came out. It was big, it was huge, it was fun as hell.
Yeah, people have been clamoring for another one, and I assumed when this went up like a month ago, the Kickstarter for this went up, it was going to get popular. And there was a lot of buzz about it on like social media. But they asked for $1 million, which I guess is not a big deal for like a big studio making a game, if they are a big studio.
That's a lot of money though for that sort of game.
Yeah, but in this kind of game, I think that was just going to be like an interest gauge, and then investors would add to that. Like that, this crowdfunding wasn't going to fund the whole thing.
Ah.
But they only got $200,000. It ended a couple days ago, maybe yesterday, I forget. But I was surprised when it failed. I thought it was going to do well. I have never played Parappa the Rapper. Parappa the Rapper.
Yeah.
But it's a very popular franchise and rhythm game. So I think that just says more about Kickstarter's trust, like people's trust in Kickstarter as like a gaming medium.
Yeah.
Because of so many failures.
Well, Mighty Number 9.
Right.
Kind of. I see Kickstarter, when it's used for a lot of indie movies, music projects, a lot of other things out there. It's branched out to fund a lot of, like, so many things.
Yeah, and a lot of those stuff are doing well. Just in the video games, like genre of Kickstarters.
And when Mighty Number 9 was coming out, I can't remember the specific games beforehand, but I don't know if that wasn't even the first one though. Mighty Number 9. It was one of the bigger ones. Like people were excited for.
Yeah.
Because it was gonna be like a Mega Man successor, and it was promising all these things, and it gained a lot of money. It gained the money plus, I think, and then
I think it only asked for something like 100,000. I'm not sure, but it got 4 million.
Yeah.
So that was a big surplus.
And people were so excited for this. It was sort of the new, oh hey, no develop, like we can't get Capcom to make this game, so we're gonna have this guy fund it himself and make it. And then when it came out, people were like, why? it wasn't that good. Actually, I didn't play it, but from what I've read and seen, it really didn't look that good. I mean, when I was excited for it because I didn't back it up. I'm glad I didn't. But I was actually excited for it. I was actually excited that, and when Mega Man 9 itself came out. But that one I was actually really excited for. And I was intrigued because it was a Kickstarter. So you thought maybe, all the possibilities were just like endless.
There's no investors telling them what to do. This is the creators' idea. They can make what they want.
They got what they wanted for a plus, and then they were able to put more into it. But
I think the writing on the wall for that was when the creator, Keiji Inafune, made another Kickstarter like a month later for a different game. I was like, excuse me?
It's like,
and then he worked on a third game.
He's not really working on the games, He's using the money for like blackjack and hookers.
Well, yeah.
That was another thing that I was looking at Kickstarter failures. Ant Simulators devs. I don't think it was a big game or anything, but they spent it all on just hookers and drugs.
So instead of making the game,
we had a really big party. Like $150,000 worth of booze and hookers.
It was a good time.
Your backers will be happy to know we had a fantastic time.
But
this game's canceled, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of it's scary because you are putting your money into this thing. And I actually remember backing one project. It was a film project, though, which was The Angry Video Game Nerd. And I actually ended up going to LA to be in the movie. So, and obviously we know how much of a success that was, that movie itself. But you look at games and it's like, you're kind of, shooting for the stars because you give them this money. I guess they have, if you give them this money, they have all the perks for it. And you're really, because with a game, there's so many hands-on usually for making a game.
Well, you got to look at, if you go on Steam, and Jonah, I know you don't really have a lot of experienced in Steam, but if you go on Steam,
Steam's is closed all the time.
they got a green light program, and you can get a game greenlit, which gives it more opportunity to be funded. And a lot of games on Steam from developers that are not AAA at all have really rely on like Steam to get their projects backed.
Yeah,
and they actually, the good developers will update their game like weekly or monthly or whatever. I mean, I'll use Space Engineers as an example from Keen Software House. I jumped in on that a couple of years ago when they were in their infancy, and today their game has morphed into, I would say, a pretty decent space simulator. And honestly, there are a lot of games out there that are like Kickstart, they're in development, they're like alphas,
Well, that's, like you said, that's great with Steam, because yes, you get to try out the games, like you jump in alpha stage and you work with the developers, like there's feedbacks and everything for it.
Yeah.
These games that are for Kickstarters, like say for a console, like, trying to be a AAA game, you don't really see like the normal stuff like other games. You get a trailer, then you get some gameplay footage, but it's all, I think with that, it was mostly like, pre-edited gameplay videos, and then if I remember correctly, people actually tried it and they're like, nah, it's not that good. Oh, but don't worry, it's coming out later on. We're still working on it. But
you know what? That's the thing too with consoles too, is like even at E3 when they're showing you games that they're like, oh, this is the next big thing, and it's like State of Decay or something like that. It's like, we made this just for E3.
Oh yeah,
the real development hasn't even really begun.
Yeah,
or we haven't even gotten this far. In fact, what you saw is probably not going to be in the actual game.
Yeah. I heard somewhere that Gone Home trailer was made like within the past couple months.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
That's what I heard too.
Doesn't surprise me.
Now with this, the Rap Rabbit, I mean, what do you feel about it? Was there anything really, like pictures or anything? It was just like any concept art released for it? Like something that might have been...
They had concept art and stuff on it, but I didn't look too much into it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, this is the guy that made Parappa the Rapper.
Oh.
And this was like a big project, like it's plastered everywhere.
Yeah.
Promoted. Everyone was really into it. And it could have like a video or something. No, it doesn't. I don't think it had a video, but I think they might have had some more in-depth stuff inside like the Kickstarter intro video.
Right. Mm-hmm. So do you think this was something... what do you think?
It would have been funded, I feel, if it had been placed up on the market around the time Mighty No. 9 was up, or like before that.
Mm-hmm.
Just because back then there weren't so many failures like Mighty No. 9. Or back then we didn't know how bad Ouya was.
Right.
Ouya was a success. It gave us what it promised, but it wasn't what we wanted.
Yeah, it ended up being a great idea, but just execution wasn't really...
It's also twofold, too, because you have to think about the marketing. Like, some of these games just might not get the PR it deserves.
Well, yeah. Mighty No. 9 was on everyone's list. Like, that was... Because it was...
I was very hyped for Mighty No. 9.
Everyone was excited.
$4 million when you only asked for $100,000 tells you right there. But that also should have told you the scope of his project.
Like, for instance,
for another... He asked for more than 100,000, but it was like in the 100,000s.
Yeah.
But I mean, that it means his scope wasn't like at like a $4 million budget. Yeah. It was like,
I don't know what, like you said, he was working on so many projects kind of at the same time, so I don't know if he was like throwing money this way, throwing money that way, and his focus wasn't on the game or the fans. It might have just been like, oh, let's just try to get this out for a quick buck, but...
Could have burned out, too.
Another game, like Shenmue 3... that's been kickstarted, and
it seems to be going well.
It's doing very well, and actually it made more than they expected. So instead of just being like, oh hey, thanks for the extra, they're actually like, oh great, it was gonna be delayed, so they can take that extra money and add so much more to it, because there was a list of things that people wanted, so they wrote the list of what they could include in the game and how much it was going to cost.
Yeah.
So that's how they got people to kickstart for it, because it's like, okay, we get this much, we can put this much in the game. We hit this goal, we can put this much in the game. So they actually reached their main goal plus some. So now they're like, this is what we're also going to end the game. So like they're constantly updating.
It's like having a Patreon where you update your goals on your
Yeah.
monetary like
But I think that's one
milestones.
I think that's something you really got to do if you're a Kickstarter contributor, not a contributor, like a dev.
Right.
You have to stay consistent with updating your people kickstarting you, or they're gonna lose faith in you.
And I also think that very important is communication with your fan base. Like what I like with Steam is there is always like a forum, or there's always like talk in the threads of the games and stuff and things.
When you're a Kickstarter backer, I'm not sure if this is for every game, but I know I kickstarted Bloodstained, which is like the spiritual successor to Castlevania.
I want to play it.
Yeah, looks rad. And they have backer-only forums where you can go and talk about stuff. I don't participate, but I go there.
Right.
I lurk.
Showing a scare.
Just
typing.
read stuff and things.
Yeah, and they have like kickbacker-only demos, which I got, never played because I don't have a PC. So
Jonah will support you.
I'll support you, but just make a Mac demo. So
just send them the pictures. You'll get the GIF.
yeah.
You need a PC.
I have a PS4, and I would get a Switch before PC. So
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So, but so that's doing fairly well. Would you say? Like,
yeah, they're being
communicating to everybody, and
they were just at E3. They showed more gameplay. It looks really good. Art style is cool, and they're not, and they have like their Kickstarter updates frequently.
Yeah.
So that's not like months without anything.
yeah.
They had a couple other ones.
And now a big thing, you're really, of course there's perks. Like, okay, if I throw in this amount of money, I'm gonna get this sign, whatever. So I mean, there's there's that initiative, but also you got to think, we want this game that we're contributing to, so it really is important for the developer to really like give that customer feedback, like show them what they're doing, because it's technically their money, so we're customers now, so we already put in for the game. Show us what you're doing, and then let us decide if it's worth it or not.
Yeah.
And that's why Steam is so great.
Well, Steam is at Steam. Listen, you're overhyping it because
I am?
They had an issue where people were submitting such crap for games that they actually had to. I forget what it was called, but they put like a review on it. They had to like pass a certain review now before the game's.
That's called Greenlight, I think.
That's what the Greenlight thing.
I think that's what you're talking about.
But
I remember something about that though.
But yeah, like people, because
you're not just putting any kind of garbage up on there. Like,
people were just, and they were putting it as games, and it's. Yeah. I mean, yes, no one kickstarted it or backed it up, but
right.
I mean, but what you're talking about too on Steam is nothing really is kickstarted. It's kind of, I mean, not to say that nothing is, but
it's alpha.
It's
but pre-alpha stuff.
It's games that people are working on. They just throw out there that are constantly.
I think Greenlight's kind of like Kickstarter because you buy the Greenlighted games, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you play it with the understanding that they're working on it's going to get better.
Right.
But sometimes they don't work on the game much more. That you just stuck with this.
Well, this
alpha build forever.
It's at your own risk.
Yeah, that's Kickstarter basically.
But yeah, and I mean it's true.
But you don't get your money back.
No.
Kickstarter, if it fails, don't you get a refund?
Yeah, if it's not successful, you get a refund.
Because unless you have, I don't know if there's a digital refund for Steam. I'm not sure.
They do have a policy, like if you hate the game you bought,
it's like within like 24 hours or something.
No,
it can't be that long.
No, it's longer.
Right away. I got 5 seconds.
No, I thought it was even 30 days. Like if you play it, I forget.
No, 30 days. That'd be insane. I would freaking buy games all the time, and within like a week, I'm like, yeah, no, fuck that shit.
I forget what the time limit is because I never return a game. Like I always keep it.
It can't be that smart.
No, I never return a game. I just like if I buy a game, but I also never buy a game unless I do extensive research and I look at everybody's comments about it.
Right, but anyway, you're not going to get your money back if the game, whatever that time limit is, and it's stuck in alpha. You spent the $20-something plus. I mean, some actually charge like, oh hey, $60, but you get all the updates free and you have the game for life, but you got to follow with us. But then you give your money for a full game, you never get the full game. You're stuck in an alpha game.
Have you ever kickstarted a game?
Have I ever kickstarted a game? No, because I'm interested in the final product when it comes to something like that.
Okay.
Like unless I guess unless David Hayter was like, hey guys, I'm making my own Metal Gear Solid game. I'm gonna be the voice of Snake. I'm starting a Kickstarter. I'd be like, you damn right you are. Here's money. Do it.
I would kickstart a documentary about like the legal issues that would cause
The legal issues of
just
that.
Konami versus David Hayter.
Dude, people would kill Konami.
Like halfway through, Kojima just comes in as it just protects David Hayter.
Yeah.
It's like Kojima.
Kojima comes out in a life-size Metal Gear. Just protects him.
Oh man,
That'd be great. Let's make that happen.
Cartridge Blast Kickstarter. We're doing that.
In the movie. We need David Hayter, Kojima, and Konami. Let's kickstart that. What are we looking at? Like $10 million?
About 10 million's a conservative figure, but
Consider with a full Metal Gear, so that's we need nuclear power. So we're probably like $1 trillion. We'll be all right, right?
Yeah,
Trillion?
It's good.
$1 trillion.
We'll do
start that today.
I have no part of this.
Goodbye to your $5 trillion.
Well, if you participate and buy, 500,000 of that, you'll get the alpha, all right? And you get the full updates for free, and you get to play the game for the rest of your life. But it's not a game; it's a movie, all right? But no refund. So
I feel like you're taking me for a fool.
yes. But what do you guys think? Do you think Kickstarter for gaming's on a decline? And do you think it's because Mighty Number 9 didn't do so well? There's other games like Yooka-Laylee that did okay. I mean, there was a JonTron political issue thing going on, but that's a whole nother...
Did you just make that up? Are you JonTron?
No, that happened.
Okay.
Don't mind Mr. Steam over
No,
here.
there was like a thing where he said something that could be taken as racist or something.
Oh no.
And then they took him out of the game.
Yeah,
he voiced something.
Let's just say he shouldn't have spoke at all. He should have just did his funny videos and that's it.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I mean, with that, I've heard mixed reviews on it. I don't know if the Kickstarter backers were happy with it.
I've seen people say it was good, and I have seen people say that it was too close to Banjo-Kazooie, but then a lot of people funded it just because they wanted a game that was like Banjo-Kazooie.
Right. So basically, you can't please everybody.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
So.
But I think that Banjo-Kazooie did what it said it was going to do, so I don't think that's
Yeah.
a failure.
I mean, so Jonah, you have some percentages there
Right, yeah.
that we didn't get to.
Completely forgot about this.
Yeah, no, we'll put that in.
Yeah, so this was I took this from an article on Game Rant. It was talking about how about the different games that were successfully funded. Like they took a controlled number of 366 successfully funded games, and they found out that 37% were the finished product that was released to the people that backed it. 8% were a partial project, kind of like they used an example of like a companion app, like,
Okay.
of what they were supposed to do, and that's not cool.
No.
And 3% canceled. They canceled the thing after it was funded. So I'm not sure what happened with the money there. Did they refund everybody? I assume they would.
They bought drugs and hookers
Drugs and hookers.
I played blackjack.
and had a good time.
I don't know how liable these people are. Like, what do they owe the backers? Because this is not pre-ordering.
Well, from what I understand, a lot of that
knows?
Kickstarter too is taxed heavily.
Yes.
So I'm sure someone gets money somewhere, and you
Yeah.
can't just disappear with it.
I'm pretty sure it's counted as like gratuity. Like it's like, here you go, here's some money. It's like a gift.
Yeah. And the last one was 2% went on hiatus. So they just like never.
They ran.
We have no idea.
They're in Canada, Mexico.
All right, so
Afghanistan.
37% successfully.
They did what they promised, and they gave a proper product out. And everybody else was just like,
So 37%. Wow. Out of 100% of people who actually start a Kickstarter, only 30% actually deliver.
And that, do they give? Do you know what the year span of that is? It was just
No idea.
366.
They just said the number.
It's just, our statistics are fine.
But I mean, like I was saying with Shenmue 3, I think that's the best way to go about it. I mean, that's professional. You basically set up a survey, or not. It's not really a survey. It's just kind of like a menu. It's like, okay, if we reach this this is what you're going to get in the game. And then this is what you're going to get in the game if we reach this number. So I think that's awesome. And there's like a lot of good perks. Like you get a signed copy of this, signed copy of that, big plaque, this, all that stuff.
You get an attaboy?
That's probably. Good, yeah. You get a high five in the mail.
That's great.
that Kickstarter program did really well. I think it's actually, I think this is happening, but I heard somewhere that 1 and 2, Shenmue 1 and 2 are coming as a compilation for PS4.
Well, they were.
So I think that was like a.
There were for a long time, everyone's been wanting an HD, not remake, but like kind of like an HD version of it, upgraded version. Yeah. So I think that's what's going to finally happen.
I think that the interest in Shenmue 3 actually drew that, made that happen. So like Kickstarter's.
Well, they're really awesome games, and I mean for the Dreamcast, people loved it, and you know it's been forever since they had another one.
Yeah, I remember before that this Kickstarter was announced, they it was one of those things that you talked about like Half-Life 3, Shenmue 3. And The Last Guardian.
Yeah.
And The Last Guardian was not great, apparently, because the animal is too animal-like.
Damn animals.
Just didn't listen.
Stupid animals.
It ran away and humped the mailman.
Shenmue 3 is happening, so, Valve, get on it.
Jump on that. So, I mean, what do you guys think? Final thoughts. I mean, Kickstarter, for what you've seen, read over the years, kind of glimpse, do you think it's on a decline for games, or do you think it's just something you got to be more careful with?
I do think you have to be very careful with who you back. I think Kickstarter is becoming something that bigger studios will go to drum up interest in a game and then match that investment with actual investors, rather than the small developers that have never made a game before go in and make it and ask for money for a game, because you can't trust that anymore after stuff that's happened, like with the Ant Simulator.
Yeah, I know it's. I mean.
But even in the previous example, you're going to be a little wary because of Mighty Number 9.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I really think that was just like I don't know, it's disappointing because it should have been awesome.
They played on my feelings for Mega Man.
Yeah.
They just took advantage of me.
But like I don't know, Chris, what do you think?
Based on like short-sighted statistics and like technology that exists today, I mean, a lot of people are developing games in their basements for less money than they had to, let's say, 20 years ago. Yeah, you're going to take a risk in giving some bunch of kids some money to develop a video game for sure. If they're a legitimate like company, like they start their own company and they legitimately do this thing and it is taxed, it's actually covered by, they have to keep a track of all their funding and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And you can get your money back, then yeah, I mean, but you do at your own risk. I don't think Kickstarters are going anywhere, to be honest with you. People are always going to want to make a video game. They're fans of video games, and you have gamers making games all the time. So I don't think Kickstarters are going anywhere.
Yeah, and I don't think they're going anywhere either. I do think that there's going to be some great games in the future. Like I'm very hyped for Bloodstain, and that was a Kickstarter game. So I think some stuff more like that is going to come, and I'm going to be excited for that too. Might kickstart those. I'm not saying I'm not going to kickstart anymore. I'm just saying that people are going to decrease what they kickstart.
It's going to be very nitpicky.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna see something like Mighty Number 9 happen again.
Yeah, no. I think this Rap Rabbit, I don't know, it more or less happened because it's been years since the last, Parappa the Rapper, and it's I don't know. I don't know if it's something people are really like, oh hey, we haven't had that in a while, let's play that. You know what I mean? When you have so many other things going on, that could have been a big thing. Right. It wasn't getting enough interest, but then you throw in like a Halo game or something, anything that's like popular genre, you know what I mean? Like, oh hey, we want to work on this giant awesome RPG / first person shooter, online multiplayer galore, a Destiny killer. People are gonna be like, oh money. So
make it rain.
But I'm excited for Shenmue 3. I think they're doing that very well. I think it's just going to be the way they handle it.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, it's going to be around for a long time. Plus, it's so many people use it for a lot of different things. But guys, what do you think? Let us know down in the comments below.